Microsoft Bookings is a tool that's included in your Microsoft 365 subscription that can help anyone who has meetings or appointments with customers, colleagues, or other stakeholders take control of the scheduling process and save time through automating the setup and management of those bookings. In this video, I'm going to show you how, with only about 15 minutes of work, you can get better control of your calendar, save lots of time, and provide a better experience for those who are setting up appointments with you using the Microsoft Bookings app. I'll give you an overview of how this works so that by the end of this video, anyone will be able to implement bookings for themselves or for their team. As always, the demos I show you are in a simulation environment and any data you see is for demonstration purposes or is otherwise publicly accessible. So let's get on with the demo. So I'm starting here on office.com with a brand new Microsoft 365 user who hasn't used Bookings before. All of the main Microsoft 365 license tiers, including Business Basic, Standard and Premium, as well as E3 and E5 have Bookings included, so in most cases anyone who can log in with a work account on office.com can use the Bookings app. So to get to Bookings, you're going to click on the waffle icon here, and if you don't see Bookings in this first set of icons here, you're just going to click on Explore All Your Apps, and you can see we have Bookings just down here. So we're going to click on Bookings, and it loads up Bookings for the first time. So the first time you come in here, you're going to get this welcome message, and then you get to this page where it shows you your personal booking page and your shared booking pages. So we're going to go through both of these options, but we're going to start with the booking page. So by default, you have a booking page that is turned on. So I'm going to go to my booking page. Thanks for watching. If content like this is useful to you, then please do remember to hit the like button so we can share it with as many interested people as possible. Also, if you'd like to see more like this, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you'll know as soon as I release another video. Also, if there are other people in your wider network who might be interested in content like this, please do consider sharing it there too. Thanks. And the first thing I'm going to do is just show you what this booking page looks like. So I'm going to click on share here, I'm going to click on copy link, and you can see this is what Patty's booking page looks like. So I have my office hours here that I can select, I have times and dates that I'm available, and I can select a date, I can go to that time, and I can set up a meeting. And so by doing that, that's going to appear on Patty's calendar. So this is what someone coming and setting up a meeting with you is going to see, whatever account they're logged into. And you can see I'm in Miriam's profile here, and I'm going to go ahead and book a meeting with Patty. You see by default it puts in my name, my email address, because I'm already logged in here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to book that. And that's now booked. So you can see I have this here booked on my schedule. I can reschedule it here. I can cancel the meeting here. So anyone who books a meeting with you can manage their own meeting. So if I jump back across to Patty, what I want to do is actually go back to my apps, and I'm going to head into my calendar, and you can see that I have this office hours booking with Miriam on my calendar. So that's the power of how Bookings works. So going back to your booking page, you do have some options here. One of them is that you can turn this off entirely if you want to. You can also edit this banner image, so you can change how your page looks. One of the cool things you can do from here is you can also create an email signature that includes your link to your bookings page directly from here, which is then going to apply when you set up a signature in Outlook, or you send an email with a signature in Outlook. So that's really helpful. So coming down to this bottom part here, you see we have public and we have private. So public bookings are the options that people will see if they just go to your booking page. So your default public booking page, they will have this office hours option there. We can go in and we can edit this if we want to. So we can choose whether this is public or private. It's public for now. You can see the different times that you're bookable. So you can remove times, you can add times if you want to, you can have custom availability, or you could just use your regular meeting hours. And your regular meeting hours actually come from Outlook. So if we jump across to Outlook and we open up this view here of work hours and locations, you can see that my default working hours are Monday through Friday, 8 AM till 5 PM. But if I remove Tuesday and I add Saturday, and then I save that, I'm just going to go back to use my regular meeting hours. I'm going to save this, And then if I jump back into my Bookings with Me page, and I'm going to reload this, you can see that I now have availability on Saturdays and no availability on Tuesdays. So unless you set up custom times, it's going to respect what you set up in your Outlook. So you can have a complete alignment between your Outlook and your bookings page. So jumping back into my bookings pages again, I'm going to create a new opportunity down in private. So I'm going to add a title here. I'm just going to call this private meeting. This is going to be a Teams meeting. It's going to be 1 hour long. And I'm not going to use my regular meeting hours. I'm only going to make this available on Mondays. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that. But if I go ahead and I create a single use link for this, I can then go ahead and paste this in here. And you can see I have options for creating this meeting that is just on a Monday. So you can create an option that is for a specific person. You can send that link specifically to them, and that's going to work solely for creating that one meeting. That's not going to exist on your public booking page. So you can completely control what you're offering people. Perhaps you have something that has to happen a particular week. And you want to send out the opportunities for that. You're going to send out that link. That person can book that meeting. The meeting they book is going to respect what's on your calendar otherwise, so it's not going to offer opportunities for times that you're already booked, but it's going to constrain what they can see to what you've defined for that type of booking. The other thing that you can do, if we create a new one up here, is that you could use advanced options to create buffer times. So say you're doing something where you need to set up a room. Say it's not a Teams meeting, it's an in-person meeting. And you know that before you do that type of meeting, you need to set up a room for 15 minutes. You could create a 15-minute buffer time ahead of your meeting. You could create a 15-minute buffer time to clear up the room. If it's something that you only want to do once an hour, then you can limit it to 1 hour interval so it's not going to be back to back. You can change your lead time, so you can make it so that someone has to give you 10 days notice. Maybe there's something that you need to buy in before you can do that type of meeting. And you can have a maximum lead time as well. If it's something that you only want to book out for certain times in the future, then you can do that as well. And remember, it's always going to respect what's in your calendar as well. So if you've booked something in your calendar, say you have a team meeting at a particular time, this isn't going to book across that. It doesn't just book into your calendar willy-nilly, it's going to book at times that you're available. You can also send email reminders, so you can send an email reminder out before your appointment, and you can send follow-ups as well. So if this is something you're doing with customers and you want to send out, say, a survey afterwards, you can do that a week after, an hour after, 15 minutes after even. So there's lots of different options here that you can use. You can also use color categories in your calendar if you use those. So there's lots of different options here that you can use to create what you want to create. So that's really bookings with me. So let's jump back and take a look at shared bookings pages. So what shared bookings pages allows you to do is to have a team of people that work together on a particular type of booking. So if I go ahead and create one, I'm just going to call this Patty's Demo Calendar, and I'm going to say this is an IT support calendar. I can change my business hours, so by default it's taken my business hours from my calendar, but I could do it 7 days a week if I wanted to. I'm going to say next. I could invite people in my company. So say I want to invite Miriam. I can invite her in as a team member or an administrator. I can invite her as a scheduler. So a scheduler is someone who can make bookings but isn't a participant in them. A viewer, so that's someone who is viewing what's in there. Or a guest, so that's someone who can be scheduled but isn't someone who is participatory in the calendar itself. So I'm just going to leave Miriam as a team member. I'm going to click on next. and you can see that I have a default service type that comes from the type of calendar that I decided to set up. So here we go, I've got IT support, 30 minutes using Microsoft Teams, 9 AM till 5 PM. And if I want to, I could change that. I could change it from being a Teams meeting if I want to, and I can go ahead, update the service, go to next, and we can use this either as a no self-service, so it's not going to publish on a page, people in my organization can book, or anyone can book. So for this I'm going to say anyone, and I'm going to go ahead and create. So you can see it shares with me the link, so let me go ahead and I'm going to open that in a new tab, just so we can take a look at it. So you can see it looks very similar, but it is a bit different. So you can see we can select different stuff, and this is something we can turn on or off. So if I want to meet in with Patty, it gives me Patty's availability, or I can get Miriam's availability in there. Now, one of the things that I will highlight here is that a shared bookings calendar does not respect the times that are your working times on your calendar in the same way that a personal booking calendar does. So you can see here, we know that we made Patty not available on Tuesdays, but you can book Patty at 7 AM on Tuesdays, which is outside of her working hours. So by default, this will take precedence. The schedule that you've provided here will take precedence over what is available on the calendar. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're booked in a meeting, if you have booked time, that it's going to overwrite that. It's not going to overwrite that, but it's just to do with what options it will present. So let's jump back to the booking page, and we're going to get started with this. And you can see I have a slightly different view here where we have Miriam and Patty or no staff. So these are bookings that don't have a staff member assigned yet. And you can see from here I'm able to create this IT support service in these different calendars. And I can have one or both of these people or multiple people in here with a customer and a phone number. So this is working slightly differently to the book a meeting with me option, in that it's structured around having multiple people on a calendar, and it's structured around having a customer coming in or having a Teams meeting there. So there are certain things that you can do here that you can't do with your personal bookings page. You have more control over what your page looks like than you do with your personal booking page. You have this customer's view, which you don't have with your personal booking page. You have the ability to add in additional staff, so you can have multiple people attached to your bookings calendar. But you have the same option for adding services. You don't have the option for private or public services. There is simply a service that is attached to a bookings calendar or not. You don't have the private and public option that you do with a personal booking calendar. But you can go ahead and you can add additional options, and you can do things here that you cannot do in the personal bookings calendar. So for example, you can add in custom fields so that people get a different form when they book. You can add in different options for staff. So you can choose to assign any of your staff to appointment, meaning that for this type of appointment, either Miriam or Patty would be able to work on it. Or you can select assign all of the selected staff to an appointment. So for that purpose, both Miriam and Patty would need to attend that appointment. And you can also allow your customers to either see the names of the staff and to choose who they're going to book with. So say you're a hair salon and you're using this for booking appointments. In that case, you might want to let people choose the stylist they were going to see, or you can turn that off. Say it's a general kind of meet and see the facility and a kind of sales meeting. Then you might want any member of your sales team to be able to facilitate that. So obviously those are options that you can't do with the personal bookings calendar because you can't have multiple people in there. Your notification options are fairly similar, apart from the fact that you can turn on text messaging if you have a Teams Premium license. So you need to make sure you have a Teams Premium license in order to make text messaging work now. You can go in and you can change some of your business information, so you can add a custom logo. You can change your hours that you're open here, and your services can be available through all of these hours, or they can be available just for some of these hours depending on the actual service. So because both these options utilize your Outlook calendar as the basis for your availability, you can actually layer configure these two options, the personal booking page and the shared booking pages, together as you would like to, and they will all leverage your single Outlook calendar to make sure you're not double booked. However, how you manage your calendar does need to be a little bit different if you're going to be on a shared bookings page where the times that those shared bookings are available are different to your default booking availability in Outlook. So say you are on a 7-day-a-week shared booking calendar, but your Outlook availability is only 5 days a week, you're going to need to make sure those days that you're out of the office are blocked as busy time or out the office time, something that represents to your calendar that you're not available versus just leaving it blank. The last time I did a video like this, I think my recommendation was you started with a shared booking page because there were lots of options here that didn't exist in the personal booking page. But in the months since, this personal booking page has actually improved to a degree that I think for most people who are just trying to set up meetings with themselves, well, a single person coming in a meeting with you, the best solution is to start with your personal booking page, and then if you need to grow into shared booking pages, you do so. The last thing I'd like to draw your attention to is another option around bookings that lives within Teams. So in Teams, you can actually add an app called Virtual Appointments, and if we add this to our Teams, and then we're going to go ahead and connect it to the calendar that we just created. And what this gives us is a different view of our bookings and a simple way to create an appointment. You can see here that we have the option to create this appointment. And what this is designed for is if you have a team of people that are creating appointments for you, say you have a call center that is taking appointments for your sales team. The Virtual Appointments app is designed to enable you to create those appointments at scale from one view. And actually, if you have Teams Premium, it adds a couple of extra features where you can view your day's appointments, so you get a queue of those appointments and you know whether there are people waiting for appointments, if they're virtual appointments, and so on and so forth. So you can see the performance of your team in getting to those appointments and whether there's anyone who hasn't been served. You can also have a kind of as needed appointment, so someone can come along and add themselves to a queue and then they get dealt with by someone who's available. So if you want to do that, just have a we can meet with you virtually whenever you like kind of setup. You can do that with Teams Premium as well. One last thing that I do want to point out that's available in Virtual Appointments and is also available in your shared calendar setup but isn't available in your personal calendar is this option for send an anonymous meeting link to customers. It sends a link that specifically will open an anonymous version of Teams for that meeting versus any corporate account that someone is signed into. If you select the send an anonymous meeting link to customers, or you select have attendees join from a web browser, then it's always going to bypass that signed in version of Teams on the desktop and just go into a very streamlined web browser experience. This is useful for anyone because it makes it very straightforward to get into that meeting. So getting started with Microsoft Bookings is really just that simple. This provides a really robust set of options for helping you manage your appointment settings, whatever you're trying to do. Whether you're just trying to manage your own calendar, or you need to manage appointments for a team or a group, or even if you're just setting appointments through the web and want to give options for people to set appointments in person or via phone using the Virtual Appointments app. Bookings is something I've focused a lot on my channel. So if this is something you're interested in, I would suggest that you check out some of my other videos on this topic. Firstly, the other big player in this space which you may have heard of is Calendly, and I put together a video comparing Bookings and Calendly so you can see the differences between the two. I also have videos on how to extend Bookings to create an in-person digital reception experience. I've offered solutions on how to use Bookings to set up virtual interviews, and even how to add forms to your booking appointments using Virtual Appointments. I've also done a deep dive series on all the Teams Premium features, including those that impact bookings, and there's a link to all of those videos below. Thanks for watching through to the end. I hope you've enjoyed this updated version of my bookings tutorial video. The original version of this, which you can no longer see on my YouTube channel due to reasons I won't go into, actually got over 13,000 views originally, so hopefully this one will be just as popular and just as helpful to people who are interested in bookings out there. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, bye bye.